I recently came across the news of Ted Kaczynski's death, prompting me to create a concise yet captivating video on this intriguing tale. In today's Conundrum, we will cover the case of Theodore John Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber, an American mathematician turned domestic terrorist. Between 1978 and 1995, he conducted a nationwide mail bombing campaign, targeting those he believed were advancing technology and destroying the environment. Kaczynski authored a manifesto opposing industrialization and advocating for nature-centered anarchism. After a lengthy investigation, he was arrested in 1996 and sentenced to life in prison. Kaczynski died by suicide in prison on June 10, 2023. Welcome back to Conundrum, where we delve into the minds and history of serial killers. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, and put the notifications bell on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you for being here. Theodore John Kaczynski was born on May 22, 1942, in Chicago to Wanda and Theodore Richard Kaczynski. His parents, Polish-Americans who later became atheists, married in 1939. Kaczynski attended Sherman Elementary School, described as a healthy and well-adjusted student. In 1952, the family moved to Evergreen Park, Illinois, where Kaczynski skipped the 6th grade due to his high IQ. However, he struggled to fit in with older students and experienced bullying. Neighbors described the Kaczynski family as civic-minded, and both Theodore and his brother David were intelligent. In high school, Kaczynski excelled academically, played the trombone, and was part of various clubs. He became deeply interested in mathematics and associated with a group known as the Briefcase Boys. He graduated at the age of 15 and was accepted to Harvard University on a scholarship, entering at 16. During his time at Harvard, Kaczynski lived in different residences and was seen as highly intelligent but socially reserved. He obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in mathematics in 1962. In his second year, he participated in a psychological study conducted by Harvard psychologist Henry Murray. The study involved personal debates and abusive confrontations, which Kaczynski's lawyers later attributed to his hostility towards mind control techniques. Kaczynski spent 200 hours as part of the study, which some sources suggest may have influenced his later criminal activities. However, Kaczynski himself stated that the study did not significantly impact the course of his life, although he resented the invasion of his privacy. Ted Kaczynski, after completing his master's and doctoral degrees in mathematics at the University of Michigan, embarked on an academic career. He briefly served as an assistant professor at the University of California in 1968. Although highly regarded for his mathematical prowess, Kaczynski struggled with teaching and interpersonal connections. His teaching evaluations reflected dissatisfaction among students, and he abruptly resigned in 1969, leaving his colleagues surprised. Following his departure from academia, Kaczynski retreated to a self-built cabin in the remote wilderness of Lincoln, Montana. Embracing a minimalist lifestyle, he aimed to achieve self-sufficiency and autonomy. Living without electricity or running water, he relied on odd jobs and financial support from his family to sustain himself. Kaczynski frequently visited the local library, using an old bicycle as his means of transportation. During his time in Montana, Kaczynski became increasingly disillusioned with modern technology and industrialization. He engaged in acts of sabotage and immersed himself in studying sociology and political philosophy. Jacques Ellul's book, The Technological Society, deeply influenced his beliefs, becoming a significant source of inspiration. Kaczynski's secluded existence was punctuated by a pivotal moment of distress when a road was constructed through one of his cherished wilderness spots. This event triggered a desire for vengeance against the societal system he believed was encroaching upon nature. Kaczynski's father, who admired his wilderness skills, visited him in Montana. However, in 1990, Kaczynski's father tragically took his own life after being diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. This loss further fueled Kaczynski's resentment and played a role in shaping his subsequent acts of violence. While his mathematics career was noteworthy, Kaczynski's life in Montana became defined by his growing animosity towards technology and his determination to challenge the system he perceived as detrimental to human freedom and the natural world. Between 1978 and 1995, Kaczynski carried out a series of bombings that caused death, injuries, and widespread fear. Kaczynski, an intelligent and reclusive individual, carefully crafted and delivered a total of 16 bombs, each more sophisticated than the last. His first known bombing occurred on May 25, 1978, at Northwestern University in Illinois. A package bearing the return address of Buckley Christ, a professor, was discovered in a parking lot. When it was returned to Christ, Officer Terry Marker opened it, triggering an explosion that resulted in minor injuries. Kaczynski's second bomb, almost a year later, targeted Northwestern University again, causing minor injuries to graduate student John Harris. In 1979, Kaczynski attempted to bomb an American Airlines flight from Chicago to Washington, D.C., but a faulty timing mechanism prevented the bomb from detonating fully. Despite the smoke released, the plane managed to land safely, preventing a potential disaster. Kaczynski then targeted Percy Wood, the president of United Airlines, who sustained severe cuts and burns from the bomb. Throughout his bombing campaign, Kaczynski left false clues and intentionally made his devices difficult to trace. He used initials like FC, representing Freedom Club, and included misleading notes and hidden metal plates. He even sent a bomb inside a novel. The FBI noticed a recurring theme related to nature, trees, and wood in Kaczynski's targets and bomb construction. In subsequent years, Kaczynski continued his reign of terror. His victims included individuals from universities, computer stores, and the timber industry. Janet Smith, a university secretary, suffered severe burns and shrapnel wounds. Engineering professor Diogenes Angelikos and graduate student John Hauser both sustained life-altering injuries. Kaczynski's bombings caused death as well, with victims including a computer store owner, an advertising executive, and a timber industry lobbyist. After a 6-year hiatus, Kaczynski resumed his bombings in 1993. Charles Epstein, a geneticist, lost several fingers, and David Gelernter, a computer science professor, suffered the loss of sight, hearing, and hand function. Kaczynski targeted these individuals for reasons tied to their fields of work. In 1995, Ted Kaczynski demanded the publication of his 35,000-word essay titled Industrial Society and Its Future, also known as the Unabomber Manifesto. He claimed he would stop his terrorist activities if his demand was met. The Washington Post eventually published the essay, which criticized the negative consequences of the Industrial Revolution and technological advancements. Kaczynski argued that technology has destabilized society, caused psychological suffering, and led to unfulfilling lives. He called for a return to primitivist lifestyles and criticized left-wing politics. The manifesto and Kaczynski's ideas continue to be subjects of analysis and discussion. The Unabomber investigation, led by the FBI, was a complex and extensive pursuit spanning many years. The investigation faced numerous challenges, as Kaczynski employed meticulous planning and utilized scrap materials to construct the mail bombs, making it difficult to trace their origins. To aid in the capture of the Unabomber, the FBI issued a poster offering a substantial $1 million reward for information leading to his arrest. The task force assigned to the case grew to over 150 personnel, including agents from the FBI, ATF, and U.S. Postal Inspection Service. They meticulously analyzed bomb components and investigated the lives of the victims, but the suspect's indiscriminate victim selection and use of easily obtainable materials hindered progress in identifying him. The breakthrough in the investigation came with the publication of Kaczynski's manifesto, titled Industrial Society and Its Future. David Kaczynski, Ted's brother, recognized similarities between his brother's writing and the manifesto, leading him to suspect Ted's involvement. With this revelation, David discreetly hired a private investigator and later contacted the FBI through attorney Tony Bisegli, who compiled evidence supporting Ted's connection to the manifesto. FBI profiler James R. Fitzgerald conducted linguistic analysis on the writings, further strengthening the link between the Manifesto and Kaczynski. Combined with evidence from the bombings and Ted's life, this analysis provided the basis for a search warrant. Kaczynski's identity was confirmed when his brother provided original letters, which allowed investigators to establish a timeline of his activities. On April 3, 1996, FBI agents arrested Kaczynski at his cabin. A search of the premises revealed bomb components, a vast collection of handwritten journal pages detailing bomb-making experiments and the Unabomber crimes, and what appeared to be the original manuscript of the Manifesto. The arrest marked the end of an extensive and costly investigation that had spanned years and incurred expenses exceeding $50 million. Kaczynski's trial presented a unique legal situation, as he rejected an insanity defense and instead chose to base his defense on his anti-technology beliefs. He eventually pled guilty to all charges and received 8 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Kaczynski has been incarcerated at ADX Florence, a supermax prison, since his conviction. Throughout his imprisonment, Kaczynski formed friendships with other infamous criminals, including Ramzi Youssef and Timothy McVeigh. However, the possibility of Kaczynski being the Zodiac killer, responsible for a series of unsolved murders in Northern California, was dismissed due to differences in the modus operandi. Kaczynski's life in prison continues, marked by occasional controversies, such as his attempt to donate books and his involvement as a person of interest in the Chicago Tylenol murders. On December 14, 2021, Kaczynski was transferred to a medical facility after being diagnosed with late-stage cancer. On June 10, 2023, he was found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead. Prison officials believe he took his own life. The Unabomber case stands as a significant example of a domestic terrorism investigation and the challenges faced by law enforcement agencies in apprehending an intelligent and elusive suspect. I've read so many different takes and opinions on this case in these past few hours, and I want to hear from you, dear viewer. I am Alex, and this was Conundrum. I hope you liked this video. Stay curious and stay safe.